Hello, and welcome to Moments in History. I'm Linda Shenton Matchett, author, speaker, and history geek. While researching my stories, I unearthed tons of intriguing historical information that doesn't end up in my books. So I've created this channel so I can share those tidbits with you. I appreciate you stopping by to watch. Today is Veterans Day, a day set aside to recognize the service of all veterans, not to be confused with Memorial Day, which honors those in the military who have died. Veterans Day is not spelled with an apostrophe, which is often seen, because it is not a day that belongs to veterans in the possessive sense. It's a day about men and women serving in the armed forces. In 1918, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, an armistice, or temporary cessation of hostilities, was declared between the Allied nations and Germany in World War I, then known as the Great War. However, the war would not be officially over until the Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1919, in the Palace of Versailles outside the town of Versailles, France. In November of that year, President Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day with the following words: "To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nations." The original concept for the celebration was for a day observed with parades and public meetings and a brief suspension of business at 11 o'clock a.m. On November 11, 1921, an unidentified American soldier killed in the war was buried in Arlington National Cemetery near Washington, D.C. On the same day, the previous year, unidentified soldiers were laid to rest at Westminster Abbey in London and at the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. 5 years later, by which time 27 state legislators had made November 11th a legal holiday, the U.S. Congress officially recognized the end of World War I when it passed a concurrent resolution on June 4th of 1926 with these words: "Whereas the 11th of November 1918 marked the cessation of the most destructive, sanguinary, and far-reaching war in human annals and the resumption by the people of the United States of peaceful relations with other nations, which we hope may never again be severed, and whereas it is fitting that the recurring anniversary of this date should be commemorated with thanksgiving and prayer and exercises designed to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding between nations, and whereas the legislatures of 27 of our states have already declared November 11th to be a legal holiday. Therefore, be it resolved by the Senate, the House of Representatives concurring, that the President of the United States is requested to issue a proclamation calling upon the officials to display the flag of the United States on all government buildings on November 11th, and inviting the people of the United States to observe the day in schools and churches or other suitable places with appropriate ceremonies of friendly relations with all other peoples." A law enacted on May 13, 1938, made the 11th of November in each year a federal holiday, a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be known thereafter, celebrated and known as Armistice Day. Now, the federal government can only designate holidays for federal employees and for the District of Columbia. States retain the right to designate their own holidays, however, almost always follow the federal lead. Armistice Day was primarily a day set aside to honor veterans of World War I, but that changed in 1954, after World War II had required the greatest mobilization of soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen in the nation's history, and after American forces had fought aggression in Korea. At the urging of the veteran service organizations, the 83rd Congress amended the Act of 1938 by striking out the word armistice and inserting in its place the word veterans. With the approval of this legislation, on June 1, 1954, November 11th became a day to honor American veterans of all wars. On October 8, President Dwight D. Eisenhower issued the first Veterans Day proclamation, which stated, "In order to ensure proper and widespread observance of this anniversary, all veterans organizations, and the entire citizenry will wish to join hands in this common purpose. Toward that end, I'm designating the Administrator of Veterans Affairs as chairman of a Veterans Day National Committee, which shall include such other persons as the chairman may select, and which will coordinate at the national level necessary planning for the observance. I'm also requesting the heads of all departments and agencies of the executive branch of the government to assist the National Committee in every way possible." The President then sent a letter to Harvey Higley, Administrator of the Veterans Affairs, designating him as chairman of the Veterans Day National Committee. Then came along the Uniform Holiday Bill that was signed on June 28, 1968, and was intended to ensure 3-day weekends for federal employees by celebrating 4 national holidays on Mondays: Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Columbus Day. It was thought that these extended weekends would encourage travel, recreation, and cultural activities, and stimulate greater industrial and commercial production. However, many states did not agree with this decision and continued to celebrate the holidays on their original dates. It was quite apparent that the commemoration of this day was a matter of historic and patriotic significance to a great number of citizens. And so, on September 20th of 1975, President Gerald R. Ford signed Public Law 94-97, which returned the annual observance of Veterans Day to its original date of November 11th, beginning in 1978. While the legal holiday remains on November 11th, if that date happens to fall on a Saturday or Sunday, then federal government employees and a number of organizations will take the day off on the adjacent Friday or Monday, respectively. Great Britain, France, Australia, and Canada also commemorate the veterans of World War I and World War II on or near November 11th. Canada has Remembrance Day, while Britain has Remembrance Sunday, which is the second Sunday in November. In Europe, Great Britain, and the Commonwealth countries, it's common to observe 2 minutes of silence at 11 a.m. every November 11th. In the United States, an official wreath-laying ceremony is held each Veterans Day at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington Cemetery, while parades and other celebrations are held in states around the country. I hope you've enjoyed today's Moments in History. If you'd like to learn even more history, please stop by my blog found on my website, www.lindashentonmatchett.com. And please consider subscribing to my channel and click the bell icon to receive notifications of new episodes that generally release on the second and fourth Fridays of each month. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.